still remember the exact moment my mother looked me in the eyes and chose him. Not her daughter, not her own blood, him. And in that moment, something inside me broke. But what they didn't know? That was the day I stopped being their daughter and started becoming someone they would regret losing forever. My name is Zara. I'm 22 years old now. But this story started when I was 16, back when I still believed that no matter what happened, family would always choose you. I was wrong. At the beginning. Growing up, I was never the favorite child. That title belonged to my older cousin, Ayan. He wasn't even their son, but you wouldn't know that by the way my parents treated him. Ayan is so talented. Ayan is so responsible. Why can't you be more like Ayan? Every single day. At first, I thought it was normal. Desi households are like that, right? Comparisons, pressure, expectations. But then it stopped being normal and started becoming unfair. At the breaking point. One evening, everything changed. I had just gotten my school results. Top of my class. Highest marks in English and business. I was excited, nervous, hoping just once they'd be proud of me. I walked into the living room. Mama, Papa. I got my results. They barely looked up. Ayan was there too, sitting comfortably like he owned the place. My father said. Keep it there. That's it. No smile, no congratulations, nothing. Then Ayan spoke. I got an internship offer in Dubai. Suddenly everything changed. My mother's face lit up like Eid morning. Really? Mashallah. I knew it! My father stood up, shaking his hand like he had just won a trophy. And me? I was still standing there, holding my result sheet, like I didn't exist. The moment that broke me, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Can you at least look at my results? I asked. There was silence. Then my father sighed. Zara, don't start this again. Start what? Wanting attention? Wanting love? Wanting to matter? I worked hard for this, I said quietly. Ayan smirked. Marks aren't everything, Zara. That was it. That one sentence, like he had the right to judge me. In my own house. I snapped. At least I earned mine. The room went silent. And then, my father slapped the table. Enough. He pointed at me. You will not speak to him like that. Him, not your cousin. Not family. Just him. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. They weren't on my side, and the ultimate betrayal. But it got worse. Much worse. A few weeks later, money went missing from the house. A lot of money, and guess who got blamed? Me? I couldn't believe it. You think I stole from you? I asked, shaking. My mother avoided my eyes. Ayan stood in the corner, silent, too silent. It's not about thinking, my father said coldly. You were the only one home. That's not true. Ayan was... Enough, my mother shouted. Her voice cracked, but not for me. For once in your life, take responsibility. Responsibility? For something I didn't do? I looked at Ayan. Say something. He didn't. Not a word, and that's when it hit me. He did it, and they were covering for him. On the day I left. That night, I packed my bag, not because I wanted to leave, but because I understood something clearly. I didn't belong there anymore. As I walked toward the door, my mother called out, Where are you going? I turned around, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel anything. I'm leaving. You're being dramatic, my father said. No, I replied calmly. I'm finally seeing the truth. I looked at both of them. You chose him, and then I walked out. The struggle. The next few months were hell. No money, no support, no family. I stayed at a friend's place, worked part-time jobs, studied at night. There were days I didn't eat properly, days I cried myself to sleep, days I almost gave up. But every time I thought about going back, I remembered their faces. The way they didn't believe me, the way they chose him. And that pain, it turned into fuel. I'm the transformation. I stopped chasing approval, stopped trying to prove I was good enough. Instead, I focused on becoming unstoppable. I learned digital marketing, started freelancing, failed, tried again, failed again, but I didn't stop. Because this time, I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me, at The Rise. At 19, I got my first big client. At 20, I started my own online business. At 21, I was earning more in a month than my father did in a year. And the best part? They had no idea. And the twist. One day, and I got a call from my mother. After 3 years, my heart didn't race. It didn't hurt. It was just quiet. I answered. Hello? Her voice was soft. Zara, Beta. Beta. Now I was Beta. I'm busy, I said. Wait, please. There was desperation in her voice. Something I had never heard before. I stayed silent. He took money. A lot of it. And disappeared. I closed my eyes. Of course he did. And we were wrong about you. Wrong? That's all it was? A mistake? The cold truth. Zara, please come home. Home. That word meant nothing now. I don't have a home there, I said calmly. We miss you. No, I interrupted. You miss the version of me that stayed quiet. Silence. Heavy silence. You didn't just choose him, I continued. You chose not to trust me. And trust, once broken, doesn't come back. A week later, they showed up at my office. Yes, my office. Glass building. City view. Everything they once said I couldn't have. My father looked older. Smaller. My mother couldn't even look me in the eye. And for the first time, they looked at me the way I had always looked at them. With hope. Zara, my father said softly. I'm proud of you. I smiled. Not warmly, not emotionally, just politely. You should be, I said. I did it without you. The lesson. I didn't scream. I didn't insult them. I didn't need to. Because the real revenge wasn't hurting them. It was becoming someone they could never control again. They chose him over me, so I chose myself. And in the end, that was the best decision I ever made.